Hi everyone. Uh, Hope you guys are doing well. So finally, we have received our advanced information, right? Finally, we have received our advanced information. So for the first attempt, right? For the really first attempt, that's September 23, right? So again, the favorite industry here comes. The industry is important, right? And the industry here is airline, right? So, sir, what's a motive of today's class? See, today's motive of today's class is to discuss the question, right? Motive of today's class is to discuss the questions, to read the case, obviously, to read the case, right? And after that, uh, discuss the important questions which can be asked, right? Discuss the important questions which can be asked. Along with that, their probable answers, right? Along with that, their probable answers. What could be their answers, right? Uh, Understanding the case, right? See, once you guys are familiar with the case, you can predict what can come, right? And then after that, I would recommend each and everyone listening to this recording, that in my classes, I have solved two specimens, right, issued by ACCA. I have solved two specimens issued by ACCA on exam platform. You guys can, that's recent specimens, right? That's recent specimens. So you guys can have a look on it. So you guys can have a look on it and go on to see these questions, right? These specimens were basically designed that first there was some advanced information, and after that, once that advanced information is given, you can be directed to the platform, and then on the platform you can attempt the question, right? So I've solved these two questions on the exam platform, which will help you guys. But again, first you have to see the September 23 and expect what can come in your case, right? And then leave these specimens for your practice, right? So these are the motives, and these are the things which we are going to cover in our class, right? Some of the students might have already read the case, but nothing matters here, right? Don't worry. I'll be teaching you the complete case. I'll be giving you the understanding of the airline industry. And after that, once the airline industry is understood, the expected requirements and what can be drafted there. So it would take a couple of sessions. Not only one session we can complete the case, it can take a couple of sessions, but again, it would be worth it, right? Again, it would be worth it. Yeah, guys. So that's basically, we could have multiple sessions on this particular advanced info. But once we have covered this completely, I would suggest you guys to go on these specimens, right? And if you want to attempt by yourself, you can. Otherwise, I am attempting and I have attempted, and you can get the access. And the best part of it is it's attempted on the exam software. So you guys can have it, right? So contents, right? Introduction, airline industry information, overview, passenger types, airline types by business model, hub and spoke versus point-to-point travel. So it's basically the list of contents. Might be your company's name is Corjets, right? Might be your company name is Corjets, right? So we can have a link on the Corjets also. It's basically your name. We have an overview of the Corjets. We have industry information. So we have a bit of information. See, always consider that industry, having a known industry is always an important part. If you guys have a known industry, that's surely gonna be easing you, right, for your pass. So introduction, right? So here we come with introduction. Just a sec. Yeah. So Corjets, a low-cost regional airline, right? It's a low-cost regional airline. I would highlight this word, and in fact, I would mark this word also, because there are different types of airlines, right? So this is basically a low-cost regional airline. You must be thinking of it. What's that? They have explained it. It was established 20 years ago, right? It's established 20 years ago. So it's a good time here. In Corland, Corland must be your and country of operations, right? There, a country located in the continent of Hungary. So they have given us the continent also, right? They gave us the continent also, right? So it's again an important thing. If they gave us the continent, it's again an important thing, right? So there must be a continental competition. They could ask, right? There must be the continent. They might compare the organizations between between continents, right? So over the years, it has positioned itself as one of the world's leading low-cost airlines, and is currently the second largest low-cost airline. So it's the world's leading low-cost airline, right? Your airline, Corjets, has been the first leading low-cost airline, right? And is currently largest low-cost airline businesses operating in Hungary, right? So it's second largest low-cost airline business operating in Hungary. So that means in this particular continent, they have many other airlines, right? You are one of the low cost, world's leading low cost airline, and second largest in Hungary. So that means you have a bigger competitor than you, right? Corjets currently operates nearly 1,000 routes in over 30 countries across Hungary. So it's 1,000 routes, 30 countries across Hungary. Its head office is based at Near City Airport, located at the south of Corland. So your head office, I'm highlighting the each and every important term here, right? South City, Near City Airport, located in the south of Corland. Hungary is politically stable and economically developed continent of the world. So that means economically, you guys are good. Most of the countries in Hungary form a trading bloc which facilitates free trade and free movement in people with it. So I could just give you an example of might be in Europe here, right? So it's just an example of Europe, as the European countries have had allowed each other to people to go there, right? So Hungary has done same kind of thing. Each country in Hungary uses its own currency. Poland currency is dollars. So see the introduction para. It's the backbone of your question. It gives you an eye of the industry. It gives you an view of the questions that can be asked, right? They can be the questions you could predict from here. Like I could estimate that pest wouldn't be much favorable here because economically it's stable, right? Whenever there's an economic stability, the pastel model is not that much tested, right? It's my experience of the previous past papers we have done. So Corjets operates a point-to-point service, meaning that it operates its flights directly between destinations, right? So it's a point-to-point service they operate. They do not have an hub airport. They just have a directly destinations, right? This means that its passengers do not have to travel or change flights at the hub airport to reach their destination. I hope you guys have an idea of hub airport. Hub airport is basically a connecting airport, right? Hub airport is basically a connecting airport. I would say that if it's an hub airport, So all the flights of, let's say, a company traveling from these countries, right? And the people boarded here, want to travel in country A in these planes, right? So country A is here. So now what the hub airport does is, uh, you put yourself, you put these flights and join them into a hub airport where a single flight, right? Where a single flight is being uh, transferred to that country A. So in that single flight, these multiple persons have been changed their planes, right? That's the reason of, I would say that's uh, the basically work of hub airport, right? So you could take an example of Emirates, right? When I traveled through Emirates, it didn't allow me to go directly. For example, I was traveling to Malaysia, so it didn't just came to Karachi and led me to Malaysia, right? What it did is it just took me to Dubai airport, where another plane from which all the persons from the different worlds or different countries want to travel to Malaysia, they could just uh, get consolidated in that particular plane, and then they were just transferred to the plane that was traveling to Malaysia. Similar, Qatar Airways, you first go to Doha, right? Etihad, you first go to Abu Dhabi, and these are basically the hub airports. So we are not operating in hub airports, right? What we are doing, we are going on point service. Wherever the company is, wherever the destination is, we directly go there, right? So this means that its passengers do not have to travel or change flights to reach their destination, which helps Corjets to reduce its operating cost. And through this, we save our operating cost, right? It also keeps cost low through its no-frills approach to flight delivery. This approach means that in flights, meals are not provided unless paid for separately. So they are the budget airlines, right? Budget airlines. Includes the automation of wide range of its processes, including bookings, flight documentation, baggage drop, flight check-in. Additionally, it operates a profitable and popular portfolio of routes between over 130 airports across country. So you must have heard of budget hotels, right? Just like Highlight Company, a question tested in December 18, it was a budget hotel, right? Similarly, this airline is a budget airline. Similarly, this airline is a budget airline, right? They have given you the information of the Corjets, right? And they have given you some statistical information. I won't say statistical. I'll just say the inside information of that particular airline. Now, let's just go on to airline industry information, right? The airline industry encompasses a wide range of businesses called airlines, which offer an air transport services to customers, normally referred to as commercial airlines, right? There are some fighter jets also, but we are in commercial airline space. So these businesses offer scheduled commercial flights, which carry both human passengers and cargo, and in most cases are carried out using jet aircrafts, right? So commercial flights are those which transport passengers from one destination to another and with a pre-booked ticket. Non-commercial flights are either operated privately or by military. So we are not talking about the non-commercial airlines. Therefore, I'm highlighting it with yellow. We're just talking about the commercial airlines, right? So the airline industry forms just one sector of the wider aviation industry, which also includes all other aviation related businesses such as jet engine suppliers, aircraft manufacturers, aerospace companies, right? So these are the things that airline industry forms in an aviation industry. The airline industry directly and indirectly supports global trade, tourism. Yeah, because of your airline, the global trade, tourism, and economic growth. Therefore, it has made major influence on globalization in many other countries. So they have done, right? Then we have types of passengers here, right? Then we have types of passengers here. So let's just discuss this. A leisure passenger is someone traveling on holiday to stay in a hotel or holiday resort, right? Or experience local tourist attractions. A business passenger is someone traveling for work purposes and will normally be attending a business meeting or conference. Now, both types of passengers may be offered the option to travel first class, business class, and economy class. Now, these are generic airline industry information, right? These are generic airline industry information which everyone have. Those persons who have just traveled in airline, they must have that, right? They must have that. Just giving a heading so that I could just write if anything or any questions that I could expect, right? Yeah. So then a leisure passenger is someone traveling on holiday to stay in a hotel or holiday resort to relax, and we have done this. First class passengers pay significantly more than their ticket, but in return receive a high quality service, including dedicated airport lounges, large and comfortable in-flight seats, and unlimited food, drinks. Business class passengers pay less than first class for their tickets and receive a slightly lower level of service. Economy class passengers pay even less for their flight tickets than business class passenger. An economy price ticket normally includes a standard seat with limited leg room and standard and limited in-flight food options, right? And standard and in-flight food options. Now, international airlines. International airlines are the largest and often most well-known airlines. International airlines offer global services carrying leisure and business passengers and cargo over long distances. International airlines usually have multiple airport hubs, which provide customers with access to hundreds of global destinations. Then we have national airlines offering service within their home country. These are national, but may also offer access to international destinations. A national airline is likely to have a smaller aircraft fleet than the international airlines. It's just simply an international airline is the major airline of a particular country, whereas nationals, they do offer international services, but then they are primarily being used for national, right, destinations. Smaller aircraft fleet, they would have smaller aircraft fleet, right? Regional airlines tend to focus on offering services with specific regions. For example, continent. In some cases, they provide passenger services and all that. Now, airline types by business model, so that we could think that where exactly, so that we could think that where exactly is our business model lies to, right? So full service carriers offer a range of pre-flight and onboard services within the price of the ticket. They may include checked-in baggage, in-flight meals, airport lounges, multiple service classes, such as first class, business class, and economy class. They usually fly national, international, long-haul, and short-haul flights. So full service carriers are basically, I would say, the bigger airlines, right? These are the bigger airlines. They have multiple service classes. The smaller airlines doesn't have that. They have in-flight meals, checked-in baggage. In fact, I remember one of the video that I've just seen of a famous airline that they offered the home boarding, right? You don't have to go in a queue for the boarding of your airline. You can do the boarding at home, right? So full service carriers. Then we have low-cost carriers. Low-cost carriers aim to gain a competitive advantage over full-service carriers by reducing cost. So we might be falling in here, right? That we are primarily working on reducing cost. This is done in several ways, including having a smaller fleets and smaller aircraft, by offering a more limited service, and by flying to smaller and less popular airports. Yeah, by low cost carriers do not land on the major airports. They go on to the less famous airports, right? Where landing and grounding fees are cheaper. For customers, flights from low cost carriers are often significantly cheaper. Services such as in-flight meals, baggage allowances will normally not be included in the price of the ticket. Instead, where these facilities are available, customers pay extra for them. Some low-cost carriers offer both economy and business class services, right? The, best example here could be Emirates for the, I'll say, full-service carrier, right? And then Fly Dubai, or I have heard of Fly Nas also. It's particularly not in of Dubai, but it can be of Oman, I guess. I don't exactly remember. I've traveled through it. Yeah. Salam Air, these are the low cost carriers, right? These are just an example of the low cost carriers here, right? Yeah. So for customers, flights from low cost carriers are often significantly cheaper, and they based on this, right? They fight with the carriers, full service carriers on this basis. Charter airlines focusing on providing passenger services to tourists to specific destinations. In most cases, they do not sell airline tickets directly, but instead enter into an agreements with tour operators. And tour operators are basically the ones who take responsibility for finding passengers for them. Then we have cargo airlines. The main focus of cargo airlines is the transportation of cargo or freight. Some cargo airlines are subsidiaries or subdivisions of airlines, which also offer passenger services, right? So I don't know for which industry we do operate. I don't know for which industry we do operate, but for which particular business model we do operate, probably we are here, but I don't know. Do we offer the charter airlines? Do we offer the cargo airlines? We will be discussing that in further data which is given, right? In the further data which is given. Now, hub and spoke versus point to point travel, right? We provide point to point travel, right? Remember, we provide point to point service. You remember that? Now see, airline which operate a hub and spoke model fly from one airport into a hub airport, and you know that, right? With passengers then connecting from hub onto a flight to their final destination. Just I gave you an example of Emirates and Etihad. Airlines operate this model because it allows them to offer more flights to passengers and is designed to optimize airlines' network coverage. The alternative to this point on point, where the airline focuses on providing passengers with a route from origin to final destination. In this model, there's no need to connect passengers through a hub airport, as flight operates directly between cities, right? As flight operates directly between cities. This model has proved popular with airline customers in recent years, and most of the low-cost airline operate this model. So a low-cost airline is going to follow point on point, right? They're going to follow point on point rather than going on a hub. Some key statistics, right? These are the important numbers, and because of this and because of these numbers, I could say any particular, I could say because of these numbers, they could ask you any particular working, they could ask you, right? They could ask you to do the performance analysis. They have given you the industry information, and after that, they could just text you. They could just give you in an exhibit of the Corjet's information, right? They could give you the Corjet's information, and then they could ask you the performance analysis of Corjets through this, because they have given you the industry information, right? So 3 billion in Hungary, 600 million, average number of commercial flights per day, 73,000, 15,000, passenger revenue, 390 billion, 79.2 billion. Flight management activities are provided by airports. Airline pay for these services via airport fee. ATC is a vital aspect of air transportation. It is carried out by ground-based personnel, specially trained in monitoring air traffic in a specific location. ATC is responsible for moving aircraft safely and efficiently through the airspace system. Air traffic controllers ensure that aircraft remain to set distances apart whilst moving them. So it's ATC's work to make sure that no one is going to collide or no one is going to come in our direction, right? So it's ATC's duty here, right? Now, aircraft ground handling. Ground handling refers to a wide range of services provided to facilitate passengers within an airport and to facilitate an aircraft's ground positioning both before and after a flight. Ground handling services include baggage management, customer service management, including sorting passengers' baggage and unloading baggage and onto and off its aircraft, including gates assignment, customer service management, right? Aircraft boarding management, aircraft towing and refueling services, airport security. So this is all provided by aircraft's ground handling, which is available at airport, right? Which is available at airport here. So apart from the industry challenges, we have got enough information, I guess. We have now got enough information on the industry that we are going to do a question, right? Although one of the question is predicted now that performance analysis could be asked here, right? Performance analysis could be asked here. But apart from the challenges, we have got enough knowledge of all the sectors, particularly to the airline, right? Yeah. So we discussed that aircraft ground handling refers many services. That's baggage management, right? That's customer service management. That's gate assignment, pre-flight facilities, shops, and all that. Then aircraft boarding management, aircraft boarding management, including operating shuttle bus services between airports, ramp facilities, right? Documents, aircraft towing and refueling services, right? Aircrafts or parking stands, aircraft security, airport security. So these all are services that are done by aircraft ground handling, and they must be hired by Corjets, I suppose. They should be doing that, right? Or might be they are the hiring of airport. We'll have a discussion on it also. Now, industry challenges. See, demand here is cyclical, right? Now, see, they have, and it's one of the major reason, and it's one of the major reason that this demand is cyclical. Now, did you understand by cyclical? It's basically that for flights driven by economic growth, in the last 10 years, low-cost carriers have increasingly taken the market share. You got this? Low-cost carriers have increasingly got the market share due to the inflation, and since they have got the lowest cost airfare, air travel, right? This made air travel more accessible to a much wider customer base globally. It has also introduced a high level of competition to the industry. So now these low-cost carriers have got or given immense competition from where you belong, right? So you must be proud here that your organization and your type of businesses has done that. Your type of businesses have done that. The airline industry has been affected by several geographical, geopolitical events, such as terror attacks, cyber attacks, extreme weather events, right? These have led to both short and long-term consequences. Terror and cyber attacks have impacted on customer confidence in the industry, and climate change is increasingly prominent on the global political agenda. So now this have some adverse factors. So this can be tended as adverse factors affecting your area of industry. Now, fuel is one of the biggest cost of airline, so this could be a question here. I would let you know that what can be the question here. I would let you know what can be the question here, but there is some important question in particular fuel, right? In particular to the fuel. So as it's most volatile, right? Fuel represents over 20%. So 20% of the fuel of most airlines cost base annually. The price of jet fuel is strongly correlated to the international price of crude oil, which has been highly volatile. Fuel costs are particularly prone to foreign exchange movements, which can also have significant impact on this major cost. Now, the airline industry is still some away from operating aircrafts with alternative fuels such as biofuels, and most airlines are still fully reliant on crude oil. So most airlines are still fully reliant on crude oil. Now, governments and customers are becoming increasingly environmentally sensitive. Now this could lead to any question pertaining to CSR, right? This could lead to any questions pertaining to CSR, right? Now, to operate in greener ways increasing. If the airline industry is to survive in the long term, it will need to invest significantly into the alternative fuel sources. So CSR could be one of the favorite topic of examiner here, right? Because you are fuel consuming entity and airlines and customers want fuel safety. Environmental factors are major and increasingly significant issue for the airline industry, right? Affecting both passengers demand and operating parameters. Customers are increasingly aware, and their carbon footprint from airline travel is contributing around 3% of global carbon emissions, right? 3% of global carbon emissions. Therefore, many are actively considering alternatives to air travel. So the persons taking care of environment are considering alternative. And if any of the alternative just arrived in the market, then it's surely gonna impact your sales. Despite environmental concerns, commercial international air traffic in the increased by 5%, according to the latest industry data. The international air traffic control environment is struggling to cope up with increasing flight numbers, evidenced by number of delayed flights rising by nearly 20% in 2002, right? Now, similarly, airports around the world are struggling to cope with demand from airlines for flight slots. This is leading to increased congestion at airports, resulting in more delays for passengers. This is also driving up aircraft grounding, handling service charges for airlines. Performance metrics to monitor their performance, right? So here are some performance. Again, I would say a performance analysis along with CSR, right? Along with CSR could be a question here. Performance analysis along with CSR could be a question here. Now, these are your KPIs on basis of your numbers can be given to you and you can be asked to perform the analysis here, right? Or these are the KPIs on which, right? On which you could be, your performance can be looked at. So ASK is calculated by ASK is available seat kilometer by taking number of seats available, multiplying by distance flown. It is measure of airline capacity. So it's basically the capacity is measured through this. Then revenue per available seat kilometer RASK is calculated by dividing the airline's total revenue by its total ask. So RASK is basically divided by total ask, right? It's measure of potential revenue generation. Load factor, it calculates the percentage of checked-in passengers in relation to an aircraft's available seats. It is a measure of utilization. RPK is calculated as the number of passengers multiplied by total distance traveled. It shows number of kilometers traveled by paying passengers who are referred to as revenue passengers. Calculated total CO2 produced by airline divided by the number of passengers. Then the percentage of flights which land on time at the destination airport. Typically, this means landing within 15 minutes of the scheduled arrival time. So this is your border, right? CO2, RPK, we have done that, distance traveled. So it shows number of kilometers traveled by passengers. So these are your KPIs here. These are your KPIs here, right? Now, the airline industry has global trade association. Its role is to help formulate industry policy, right, and support airline activity. So global trade association is also aware here. A union, we can say, is available here. It promotes awareness of the benefits which the airline industry brings to national global economies. Its role is to develop global standards for the air transport industry, and it provides advice on airline safety and security by setting clearly defined rules. Right? So here I can say is that we have covered, I must say we have covered 5 pages, and we must be jot down some of the things, right? Now, one of the assignment that every student have, right, is to make a 1-pager important points, right? Every student have to do that. Make a 1-pager important points. So read each and every para, and I'll ask you to make 1-pager important points, or I will say a summarized planner of this advanced info, right? Summarized planner of this advanced info. Although I would be making it, but if you guys are making it, then it's really perfect. And it's really perfect if you're making a one pager important point, right? If you're making a 1-pager important points, then you must be knowing of the data where it is present, so you could connect it in your exam, right? So I'll say, as it's the first ever, so here are my summary points, right? But I'm summarizing on a whole, but I want you to do the summary by pages, right? On first page, this is the summarized point. On second page, this is the summarized points. On as far as my involvement is concerned, I'm just making a summary. I'm just making a summary that I've read till now. But for you guys, your assignment is to make the summary by pages and show it to me. So it's first ever, I'll say, pre-scene, right? First ever pre-scene is arrived, right? The first ever pre-scene is arrived, right? So what's important? It's 20-year-old. You must be remembering it was written that it's 20-year-old carrier, right? Operates, I'll say, almost 1,000 routes, right? Almost 1,000 routes here, right? In over 30 countries. In over 30 countries, right? And no frills, that's for sure. No frills are here, right? Airline ranked second. Now, these are the summary points that I'm making, right? This is just for your reference. You have to make the summary by pages. So ranked second on passenger, ranked second on passenger numbers in Hungary. That was your continent, right? The Poland is the country and Hungary is the continent, right? Hungary, it's the continent. You remember now that we flow point to point, right? We remember what's point to point, right? And hub and spoke system. So we remember what's point and what's hub and spoke, right? Right? Hub and spoke. So it's defined on page 12, I guess, right? It's defined on page 12. Here, yeah, not page 12, page 4, sorry. So hub and spoke. So I just referred here. So anyone who wants to understand the hub and spoke, they must have an idea of it, right? They must have an idea of it. Now, what could be the possible models they could ask? That's pest. It's less likely, right? It's less likely they could go for pest. But for SWOT, because there's no economic uncertainty or political instability till now, so pest is lower being chances that can be tested here. SWOT, yeah, you could. That's likely that they could ask you, right? Because they have given you key drivers, right? They have given you key drivers in the industry. Again, fuel. You could write in the SWOT that fuel is expensive, huh? And they have been looking for the alternatives, right? It was said that 20% cost annually is in the fuel, right? 20% cost annually is in the fuel, right? Uh, so SWOT, and similarly, smooth running of airlines. Airlines focuses on smooth running of airlines, and for that, they look forward. They look forward for ATC, and what was that? It was air traffic control. So basically, I am summarizing the question till I have read, but for you, I want you to summarize till pages, right? Sustainability is an important area. Sustainability is an important area, right? Uh, Despite people focus on environment, people are focusing on environment, right? People are focusing on environment. Air travel has increased by 5%, I guess, right? Air travel has increased by 5%, right? So till now, I must say that we have read so much data, and for that, I think uh, that till of my work, it seems to be like that, right? But again, if you guys have a better alternative, have a better, I must say, of writing ability, then you must be thinking on it, right? Then you must be thinking on it, right? So till now, what I feel important, I just wrote it down. Now the core jets interview. Now here comes the core jets, right? So let's just do this. So core jets was established in Colin 20 years ago by entrepreneurial brothers Eric and Axel. They were the fathers of this entity, I must say. They both had worked for many years in the airline industry and had a keen interest in traveling. With money inherited from their parents, they acquired two second-hand aircraft, so they have a passion of traveling. They started by operating flights from New York City Airport, located 40 miles from Collins, capital city in the south. The airport's located close to two cities in the north of the country. Using their knowledge and experience of the airline industry, Eric and Axel spotted a gap in the market in Corland for more convenient and affordable low-cost air travel, right? So it's basically about Corland, right? It's basically about Corland. Yeah. So with money Using their knowledge and experience of the airline industry, Eric and Excel spotted a gap in the market for more convenient and affordable low-cost air travel. Up to that point, Collins airline industry was dominated by full services, right? So Collins were dominated by full service carriers, and up to that point, they realized that they must have a cheaper alternative, so they launched their airline. So the low-cost business model in the call and airline industry proved extremely popular with their passengers, right? Who liked the convenience of gorgeous point-to-point service and the significantly cheaper ticket prices than those offered by existing full-service carriers here. Over the years, Gorgeous has focused on operating flights to and from airports across Hungary with highest customer demand and continually looks for opportunities to extend its network. Cost efficiency has been overriding strategic focus. So Colland is focused on cost efficiency, right? They operate cheaper, so that they want cost efficient area. This has been delivered through developing and maintaining long-term strategic partnerships with aircraft manufacturers, key airports, ground handling operators, maintenance contractors who maintain Gorget's own aircrafts, and by operating the latest and most efficient aircrafts. So low cost airline market share. And we have 14% of market share, and the market share leader here seems to be the Brig here because we were the second largest, right? So our prime competition is this, and we are not much behind, right? We are not much behind, right? Now, see, for the last 20 years, the low-cost model of air travel has continued to be very popular across Hungary, and there are now 30 low-cost airlines operating across the continent. So Eric and Axel both retired from business 10 years ago. They both are now retired. Since their departure, Colgate has remained focused on strengthening low-cost strategic position. They have a great route here, right? They have a great route. I must say they have passengers increasing. There is an increasing trend, I must say, right? Then there is an in the routes, there is an increasing trend in the passengers. So they have been increasing the numbers. They have been increasing their numbers, right? So Gorgeous was listed on Collins stock market 9 years ago, 1 year after Eric and Axel retired. So the brothers originally retained 35% share when it was first listed, but then they have sold the shareholdings and now they no longer play a role in the running business. So now the brothers have nothing to do with Gorgeous as they have sold their entity. Currently, 80% of Gorgeous shares are held by large institutional investors. 10% of shares are held by Gorgeous employees, and the remaining shares are held by small private investors. Now, Magda Fisk is currently CEO. So he is the CEO here, right? And placed for 10 years. She was Magda Fisk, right? And she was instrumental in achieving Gorgeous listing. So Magda, she was the person in Gorgeous listing. So Gorgeous has profitable and extensive portfolio of routes, over 130 airports. So it's operating over 130 airports, right? This makes it popular with customers who finds the range of destinations and frequency of flights offered more convenient and attractive. It regularly reviews its routes network to exploit the latest demand. Now, fleet, Gorgeous operates modern fleet of 300 aircrafts. So they have a great aircrafts, I must say, of which 75% are owned outright and 25% are leased. Leasing is a common financing in the airline industry. You must know that planes are on lease, right? Now, Gorgeous has invested significantly in the latest aircraft, which are more fuel efficient. So that means they have some focus on technologically and they are fuel efficient, right? This has contributed significantly in the low-cost strategic position and positively impacted reducing carbon emissions. Gorgeous average aircraft is 4.5 years, which is compared to lower. So they have 4.5 years old aircrafts, right? Which is fine. Now see, we're getting the data. You're getting the information here, right? Corjet's focuses on leisure passengers rather than business passengers. Therefore, its aircraft cabins consist of economy class seats. Uh, Seats per aircraft compared 140 seats on similar sites. The higher seat density allows Corjets to offer ticket prices per flight, which is attractive to customers, right? Which is attractive to customers. Just a sec. Yeah. Now, uh, Corjets focuses on leisure passengers rather than business passengers. Again, an important thing here, right? Your target area is leisure. Therefore, aircraft consist of economy class seats with high density layout, right? With 150 seats per aircraft. So they are not focusing on business passengers. The higher seat density allows Corjets to offer lower ticket price because it gives you more seats, 150 rather than 140. So it gives you more seats, right? Again, it helps you in keeping the cost low. Helps you in keeping the cost low because you have higher number of people there. Corjets applies data analytics. So DA can be an important part here. Throughout its businesses, considers data to be business resource. It has always been an early adopter of the latest technologies in the airline industry. It currently makes extensive use of technology throughout its business operations. A mobile app which allows passenger to book flights, check in for flights, download boarding passes, receive real-time flight status information. The app significantly reduces cost of issuing, distributing, processing physical tickets. So they have an app, right? They have an app. So this seems to be the technology focused. In most airports, Corjets operated fully automated baggage check-in machines to help reduce check-in queues. All aircrafts are fitted with electronic touchpads for the crew to replace laptops and printed navigational charts. This has replaced need for each flight to carry heavy printed flight logbooks, right, which has helped to reduce CO2 emissions per flight. So this has also benefited them. All Corjets aircrafts fitted with big data servers to collect continuous in flight. So they have got enough information, but then there can be confidentiality issues, right? There can be confidentiality issues. People. So Corjets employees, 11,800 staff, including 2,000 pilots, 6,500 cabin crew. They have some staff, right? The remaining staff fulfill number of roles, including staff operating at airports, head office staff operating in IT, finance, customer services, and human resource. Regular updates are provided to employees on key business issues, which include regularly updated intranet, a monthly meet the board online chat, and weekly staff newsletter. All Corjets employees undergo a full induction program and have access to online learning resources as well as career development opportunities. All employees receive regular and scheduled managerial appraisal of performance. 6 directors. So here comes another important and a very favorite topic of mine. That's governance. They could test for the governance, right? They could test for the governance here. 6 series, 5 entities. You could ask for another entity here. They have the committees and they have appropriate committees, right? They have appropriate committees, right? CEO. Then we have entities here, and then CEO is being reported by these number of people: chief people officer, chief marketing, chief commercial, chief information, and chief financial. Risk management. Yeah, airline have been facing many risks, right? airline have been facing many risks, right? So Gorgeous has a detailed risk register, robust ERM. So they follow that, they have risk register. So risk analysis could be asked, right? They could give you some risk. We have solved the questions like this. They can give you some risk and they can ask you to make sure every risk is mentioned in risk register, or they could ask you to plot risk on the heat maps, the questions which we have solved, right? The board takes responsibility for determining the nature and extent of the risk it is willing to take to achieve its strategic objectives. It is also responsible for maintaining and monitoring the systems of internal control and risk management. Risk management activities are coordinated by the risk and assurance team. So they have a team of them led by risk manager who reports to CFO and the chair of audit committee. So risk manager is reporting to the appropriate persons. They have the key risk, safety and security of customers, the growing impact of climate change. Yeah, the climate change can be one of the risks because any of the particular impact of climate could have a serious impact on the airlines and our air capacity. Airline and air capacity. So it's good to have a look on it. Then macroeconomic, geopolitical events such as general economic trends, foreign exchange rates, volatile fuel prices, the availability, security, performance of its websites, right? Business operating systems. Now, the Gorgeous website express, we have that. We consistently deliver low fares to our customers and operate flights to the places our customers most want to travel. So they have an aim like that to connect people of Andrea through affordable and sustainable air travel. Our values: managing emissions, investing in efficient aircraft, minimizing waste, stay health and safety, customer security, emergency preparedness, customer satisfaction, data protection. So they could be all the risks they can face, right? Engaging with employees, offering fair reward, providing development opportunities, investing in the latest technology, innovation to improve customer experience. So they have their mission statement here. They have their mission statement there, right? They have their driving innovation, committed to safety. So they could discover new routes, right? They could ask for new routes. Then results and cost breakdown. So you can see that the revenue has slightly increased from the last year. So again, a performance analysis, so they could combine performances here, right? But their PBD is increased more than the revenue. They're right. Their PBD is increased more than the revenue here. And rows, you could think of the reason why rows declined in this year might be a serious capex being done, right? So which increased the capital employed, and therefore the rows of this particular year declined. And now that the capex is being depreciated, so they could have a higher rows now. Just a thought, right? Punctuality, our punctuality seems to be a very low, right? We could compare it with competitors. That means our punctuality is around here, around 80% or below 80%. So that's not fine, right? We should be 100% punctual, and the best of us was around 81%. So why we have declined from punctuality? We could discuss, right? We could discuss it here. Customer satisfaction. Despite less punctual, our satisfaction has increased. How's that? How is that? Might be due to staff. If we have a good staff, they might have kept our customers satisfied. If our punctuality is fine, then it's okay, right? So decline in punctuality should be decline in satisfaction, but this has somehow inversely done that. And how could it have done that, right? Now, cost breakdown. Our major cost is fuel cost, so it's around 22%. Then the other cost is, major cost is airfront ground and handling fees, then the fuel cost, right? Then crew cost we have, then depreciation and leasing we have, then air traffic control. So all these costs are included. Crew cost includes salary and training cost. Other includes IT and head office administrative function costs such as finance, customer service, and HR management. And here we go, our complete advanced info being done. And here we go to the complete advanced info which is being done, right? So again, I want every student to make a one-pager, important points, and how you could make it page by page, right? You could make it page by page, right? So now what we have got, so now what we have got, guys. So till here, what other thing I have got, it's that Gorgets now competes against no less than 30 low cost airline, right? So it have a tough competition, right? It have a tough competition, right? So it has 300 planes, 75% owned, and the rest are on leases, right? And the rest are on leases, right? Life is 4.5 years, which is fine, right? Which is low compared to industry. It's low if it's compared to industry, right? Now, loves technology. They have technology, right? They have technological existence in terms of mobile apps, in terms of indicators, right? So they're looking for new ways to enhance customer experience, right? Their satisfaction of customer might have been increased due to their app of being informing them of late and right. So the experience could lead to lower cost. Experience could lead to lower cost. Risk management, again, an important terms here, right? Risk management. Here they have been healthy in it, maintaining risk register, right? They are maintaining risk register, and they are following the ERM framework, and they are following the ERM framework here, right? So obviously customer confidentiality could be a risk which they might have missed till now. So it could be an important, because if I'm booking an airline, I must pay it through card. So if I'm paying it through card, so you must be having confidential numbers of mine, right? Similarly, punctuality seems to be a problem here, right? To be a problem, you could say that, right? However, yet customer satisfaction increased. So this needs to be looked. Customer satisfaction. This seems to be an abnormal thing, right? If punctuality is not fine, that however customer satisfaction how has increased, right? This could be area of particular question. I feel like this could be one of the question. This particular thing can be one of the question, as it's kind of a one-off. If my flight is not on time, I won't be satisfied with the airline. So if they have, so this could be the question, right? The one-off things, you have to look for one-off things, right? So what's assignment of the students? It's basically one pager, right? Of every page. That's basically summarized points. Just like I have summarized the case, you should be summarizing your your advance info every page, right? I have summarized the complete case, should be summarizing it, right? You should be summarizing it. for sure. The questions which I believe can be asked, as I written down here, the questions here could be number one. I must say, number one, I must say they have given you the KPIs, right? They have given you the KPIs, so I believe performance analysis, some kind of performance analysis, right? They could have asked here performance analysis for sure, because they have given you KPIs, they have given you competitor data, right? So they could give you the current numbers and could ask. Another possible question could be of CSR, right? Could be of CSR, fuel dependency, and how to reduce that. This could be and these are the possible questions, right? These are not the definite questions that can be asked, right? These are the possible questions. Similarly, risk register or some kind of a question related to risk, right? And now it's on examiner how it leads to the current scenario. They have given you the general data, right? Question on risk, or I can say any particular issue which led to risk, right? Any particular issue which led to risk. So this could be a question, I think, right? This could be a questions. So it's numbers are here, right? So they could ask you the performance. They have given you many numbers, so they could ask you the performance here, right? The governance question, yeah, the governance question, that's for sure, right? The governance question could be asked here, right? Because they've given you the data. Now these are the data which can predict you some questions. Similarly, big data or disruptive technology could be asked, as this seems to be the technology focused, right? As this seems to be the technology focused, so this could be asked, right? This could have been asked, right? Now appraisals, yeah, appraisals. If they might give you an appraisal of a new route, there is also a possible thing that appraisal of a new route, that you have to appraise a new route and determine, right? So these can be the possible questions. Now these are surely not the definite questions that they will be asked, but there's a possibility, right? There's a possibility. So what I have done in front of you guys is that I've read the case, I've explained the case in a better way, right, to you guys, and then I made some points which I felt important, right, but again I feel here is that you should be making your own one-page summary of every page. Like go on the Word file and then write the summarized points which I have written here, right? And then you can send it to me so that I could share it in my group, and each of the student can get a benefit here, right? And each of the student can get a benefit here. Now, with that being done, there's surely you're gonna have questions in the mind that these can be tested, right? Just I just in front of yourself, I just read the case and I got some points. In front of yourself, I just read the case and I got some point. That's KPI, that's CSR, that could be asked, risk register, questions or risk, which led to risk, governance questions, big data, disruptive technology, appraisal of new routes. So these all are the questions that can be asked, right? I would take more sessions on the advanced info and the possible answers. Like if you want to draft on the performance analysis, this is the best thing which you can do for the financial and non-financial factors, right? There could be any particular project being asked, right? Project management for alternatives to fuel, right? They could give you a project to lead which aim is alternative to fuels, right? So project management, alternatives to fuel, they could give you to save environment, or the project could be of saving environment, right? So these all are the targets which can be asked. I would take more sessions, guys, till you guys make your planner. Now, those students who have taken these classes can attend my specimen classes, the specimens which ACCA have issued recently for which advanced information was given, and for after that advanced information, we got directly we directed towards ACCA platform where the data and the information is given, and then you have to solve it. So I have solved both specimens in the exam practice platform for you guys. So if you guys want to get yourself registered for that, you should be texting me on my WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is +92 331 2623 849, and you can get the access of those specimens, right? I hope you have got a benefit from my classes, and you must have. If there's any query, any questions, you guys can text me on my any of the social media platforms, and hopefully this short summary of the advanced information must have provided you a benefit. We'll be conducting more sessions to it, so that have can look here, right? Till now, it's all from my side.